Happening.
What's going on, Phil?
It's
What are
good
we
to
doing
see
here?
you, man. As always, I love being here at Island Fishing Tackle. We got James here. You got your whole staff here tonight. What's that all about?
Well, they're getting done for the day. We are.
What'd you do?
ready.
Screw something up?
Typically.
Oh, let's make sure this camera's looking good. It's a little tilted there, but what can I say, man?
Oh,
you
man, you're all
know, that's
messed
good
up, dude. What's wrong
enough.
with you, man?
Hey, look, that looks pretty good, doesn't
It
it?
doesn't. No, it looks jacked up.
No, it doesn't. Oh, you don't like it?
Just
Really?
talk while you think you're working here.
Yeah, I want to see you fix it. Now you're raising it up too high. What are you doing?
Oh my goodness.
Hey. Hey, folks, we're still here. Sam is attempting to show up, and he's doing a great job of it, actually. They don't have anything to, oh, wait. Oh, yeah, that's much better, Sam.
Is that the right way or no?
Yeah, that'll work. Well, Matt's in
the other way?
We got all like a production crew here tonight.
Is that the right way or the other way?
That works. I mean, you can see where your chair is there. It's okay. Sorry, we should do this ahead of time, folks, but, you know, that's the way it goes. All right, we got a ton of comments. It's okay. Come on, Sam.
Looks all right.
Let's get this show on the road. I've got to read some comments. Welcome, everybody. Friedman Adventures, Tackle Shop Confessions. It's great to be with you all. And Sam, I have one thing to say to you. Albacore! No. I predicted an albacore run.
Yeah.
Okay, three fish.
Well, I'm proud of you for owning up to the fact that it hasn't really happened yet.
No, it hasn't. And I'm ready to throw the towel in on it until I talked to Tom Durr today. And Tom says, oh, we caught albacore full speed. He goes, when we caught them in the Catalina Channel, remember those big fish back in the 86?
Yeah.
He said it was 75-degree water. He was the guy who found that fish.
That was only like 50 years ago. So, I mean, I'm sure
fishing is better now than
these
it was.
they just roll year after year. Yeah, so that should happen.
Hey, man, when I saw that albacore, you have no idea. When I saw that one on the Aztec,
I'm sure.
I was paging through and I go, what the hell?
You thought it was a joke. You were like,
I wasn't sure, man.
First thought you thought it was a joke.
Yeah, and then the Lexi out of Dana Worsport Fishing had a double jig strike. You wonder if he would have thrown a scuba. I don't know. Maybe he did throw a scuba bait. Probably not.
Yeah.
You know?
I think those guys seemed like it at least. They went out trying to target them. So maybe there's a chance there's something out there you can go look for. But I don't know how far they were or whatever. But
I didn't
to
get
get
it.
two, you figure.
There might be a bait
gotta be
fish
at
or
least-
2 or 20 or
yeah,
something
yeah.
there. So pretty good. Hey, good to see you.
Yeah, man. Same here.
Everything seems to be hopping around here, man. I mean, you got a full staff. What are all these guys doing here? They're just there for the show?
Yeah, they're here for you.
No, I doubt that. Well, I didn't bring any food or anything.
They heard about the food. They're going to be disappointed.
James said it's going to be a bigger bill tonight. You better watch out. Everybody's.
Yeah.
All right. Let me read a couple of comments because there's so many nice people who have already started. Christopher Martinez says hello. Kenji says, thanks for another great show. Hit the like button. Yeah, if you would do that, we'd deeply appreciate it. Already 10 likes. Already almost 50 people watching. So that is really great. Tonight at 8 o'clock, the upload's really slow right now, but I had a chance to spend some time with Eddie Leland today. And Eddie, of course, battling cancer. Man, I hadn't seen a smile on his face like I saw today. It was incredible. He was talking to Tom Durr and talking about all this old-time fishing, and they were going back and forth.
Oh, man.
Oh, it was great. And Eddie just couldn't get enough of it. So it was super fantastic. Dan Lightfoot. Dan should be here. What's he doing? He says, hello, Sam, Phil, and all the Friedman Adventure fans. PNS Harnack, good evening. The Harnack family is here and ready for Tackle Shop Confessions. Sarah sending that note along. Sarah, you guys are the best. We love you guys. Fishing Vida. Can't wait for the show. Cue ball. Man, there's a lot of people on here. This is absolutely fantastic. I mean, Sam will say it and I will say it. We deeply appreciate you all tuning in and being with us. Sam cannot stand the way the camera is. It's driving him crazy tonight. So he's going to work on that. I'll keep reading these. Everything sounds great, so that's good. I'm not getting picked on for yelling too loud or anything like that. Hey, do you want to be on this show? Come here a second. Give 5. What's your name, by the way?
Dice.
Dice? Nice to meet you. Wave out there to everybody. Yeah, he made his debut on the Friedman Adventures show. Thank you. Friedman Adventures on YouTube. And your name? Jake, good to meet you, my friend.
Meet you guys.
All right. Take care. Thanks for being on our show. We appreciate it. All right, yeah, go fishing. Joe Sirwall, what's up, Phil and Sam? Good evening, Phil and Sam. Jeff from the 540 Slingers Club. Wild Willie, good evening. Omar, finally been waiting for this all day long. People are waiting for the show. Cue ball. So what? You still tying hooks? LOL. Manny says, good evening, family. Long live the albacore. Tackle Shop Confessions is a great name. Hey, man. Oh, shoot. I thought that was it. Still more.
A lot more, yeah.
Tim P. When you win jackpot and donate it to the crew, shouldn't it cover galley and fish cleaning? Give my jackpot to the fish cleaning, assuming it went to both. Then minutes later, they tell me to pay the galley. What the F? Yeah, I mean, you just have to be clear about it.
Yeah.
Here's the jackpot, boys. That takes care of my galley and my fish cleaning. You guys keep the rest.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably a couple disclaimers there. I mean, if it's a $40 jackpot and a $40 fish cleaning.
There you go.
Maybe different,
Yeah, but there's no such thing as a
if it's-
$40 jackpot
I'm
anymore,
just
is
saying,
there?
I don't know, there's 5 guys that go or 8 guys that go in at $5 a piece. I don't know.
Yeah.
So there might be some other details. I mean, it's a $400 jackpot. I'd say, well, yeah, I think that's covered if it was only a $40 bill. But
All right, Eric. Our hand model. Gentlemen, you guys are leaving right when the show starts.
See you next time.
Oh, Matt's saying, though.
getting out with the getting's good.
He's got his Notre Dame shirt on again. I love it. Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
I'm telling you that.
And I don't have an exact ratio of how much it should be for your your bill and your, but there might be some more to it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Met another Catholic nun on the beach today.
Really?
Swear to God. So I got the story, though. This nice woman was walking by, and I was setting up my camera, and I just, hey, good morning. She goes, oh, what are you doing? So I told her I did this fish thing, blah, blah, blah. And she was so nice. I said, what's your name? And she goes, I'm Sister, I think it was Sister Madeline or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. Oh, hey, Sister. We talked a little bit about, I did some Catholic missionary stuff. And so some woman, died over there in Surfside and left her house to the Catholic nuns.
Wow.
And so they use it as a retreat, and they go to the, so she goes, I look up to heaven every day and thank the Lord for this woman that gave, So now I kind of figured out what all these Catholic nuns are doing running around there.
Found the source.
Exactly. Michelle Stanley, I'm a newbie. What's your best advice? Michelle. I'm looking out at you, Michelle. You're a woman in a man's world.
Listen to the crew.
Listen to the crew. Start out.
Yeah.
When you go to school, jump right into the university. You start down in kindergarten. So start on half-day boats. I maintain, you go on an albacore trip, for example, you might choose a bait 2 times during the day. On a half-day trip, you're constantly choosing a hot bait. You're constantly casting. You're doing all the things that make you a better fisherman, Michelle. So I think that's really important. Start, surf fishing. Start half day. Graduate to 3/4 day. Graduate to the full day. Graduate to the overnight, and then the long range. Do you like that advice?
To a degree.
Oh!
I feel like...
You want people to jump right to the long range, huh?
Well, yeah, honestly, if she went on a long range trip, she'd probably learn a lot more.
She'd catch, that's
she'd
for
catch
sure.
a lot more.
Yeah.
The crew is probably going to have more time with her because most of the trips is more limited load. But, this is kind of a big leap, right? Long range. But I still think the number one advice, listen to the crew, get to know the crew on the boat. They're always going to have the most up-to-date information. And generally, if you let them, they want to help you. Generally.
Absolutely.
So you're always going to find a boat with one guy that's having a bad day. But generally, they're there to help you. And you're going to find that if you allow them to, you're open to it, you're going to get the best help.
Yeah, and to expand on what he's saying, Michelle, couldn't agree more. When you walk on the boat, introduce yourself, make a friend with a crew member, and they'll help you along the way. I still maintain, however, some of the best fishermen. I mean, I've walked on long-range boats before, seen a guy with $1,600 million worth of gear, doesn't know how to use it. And a guy on the half-day boat, old guy, who's been fishing every day, frickin' will wax you like you can't imagine being waxed because they are really good at it. So I like going through the progression, but crews are so good now that you literally, a guy can walk on a boat with no experience and catch a 200-pound bluefin.
Yeah, and the thing too
with proper
is,
coaching.
I think it's about getting the help and asking for it. That's kind of why I was saying is, if you go on a long range boat, the chances are better that you'll get more help. It doesn't mean you won't get any help on a local boat too. I mean, irregardless, you want to.
That is true. That is true. Let's be honest about it, right?
So I mean, it's just what it is.
Long range boat's going to have 7 deckhands, probably, right?
Right. Yeah. And also too, you'll find even some of the passengers are more than willing to kind of help out. And so just the crew members on those types of boats there's more crew members per angler. There's more guys on the boat that are willing to help, and maybe less guys that need help. So you're just going to have a higher ratio of anglers. I mean, of crew members to people who need the help. But I mean, this is I'm not sure why she's asking or what she's asking. If you were just going to want to have one shot at getting the most out of it, that's going to be where you're going to get it the most. But doesn't mean you won't get it out of a local boat either.
Right.
And I think if you present yourself from the beginning as someone who is looking for help, like I said, I would find it hard for her to go on 5 trips in a row and not get any help.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you might find the one trip, things are going crazy, there's barracuda everywhere, or maybe they're short a deckhand or whatever. Things like that happen occasionally, but by and large, if you stick to a boat and you get to know them, they're going to help you out.
And Michelle, if you have a follow-up question, please go ahead. Hey, do you mind if I do something real fast?
I don't.
You don't? Okay.
I don't think you'll.
Albacore! Woo! Sorry, I had to get that out.
That's good. I'm glad you got it out of your system. We got the albacore catching out of our system for the year. It seems like
we got 2 more than last year. All right, tremendous. Let's see here. Where are we? I'm all screwed up again.
You got 2 more of those left.
Do I?
Albacores. That is.
I've got a whole bunch of questions here. Here we go. Okay. Fishing Vita. Hey, Phil and Sam. Hope all is good. Thank you so much. What would be a good budget-friendly rod to pair with a Speedmaster 20 for nighttime bluefin?
So I think we've talked about it once before, but the Graphtec, they have a series of rail rods. They start at around $250. Sometimes on sale you'll find them a little bit cheaper, but there is no rod even close for the money. There's a bunch of other rods going to be in that $300 to $400 range. So it really depends on kind of where you want to be as far as your budget. But for the money, that Graphtec rail rod, they have it in an XH, 2XH, all the way to a 4XH. But for that reel, I would recommend either the XH or the 2XH. And we've sold a ton of those rods. Not only us, I know a lot of other shops have. Graphtec has really done a good job of putting out probably the best rod that you're going to find for less than $300. And they've kind of been known for that. I mean, Graphtec's been around for 50 years or something like that, or probably more.
Yeah.
And they've always kind of put out that budget, but yet very West Coast rod. And we're kind of lucky to have those guys out here, because we can find a brand, a Shimano or a Daiwa that they're really good, but typically the price is going to be competitive with those 2 guys. That Graphtec typically will fall even underneath those. And that's one thing that he's always done is kept the price point down, but the quality has been really, really good. So that's the one, Graphtec rail rod.
Hey, just as a general comment, man, fishing is freaking good right now.
Yeah.
Local fishing, bluefin, Dorado's starting to push in here. Have you seen that sea bass bite in the Channel Islands?
Yeah, it just continues to surge.
3 per rod.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I mean, guys are
Tuesday, right? They got like 120 or something.
Yeah,
Like
the Endeavor, the Mirage, somebody else had a shot. New Hustler with the guys from Team 57. They were all over it. Man, it's been incredible fishing, right?
It's as good as it gets. I mean, all locations now. I saw last night I went surf fishing. Big yellowfin croaker. I mean, it was easy to catch them. I was using a new gamakatsu bait that they just put out, and actually, after using it for one time, I'm going to order them in. I just ordered a bunch today, actually, after talking to one of the reps. But, on the beach, offshore, inshore, it's biting good everywhere.
It's biting good. And the water temp's now up to 70 degrees. Wild Willie says, Phil, don't give up. We can still see albacore late August, September.
For sure.
I'm going to punch you.
100% for sure.
Listen, Tom Durr, I told you, did I say this on the air or did I say it before the show? I can't remember. I'm so tired.
Probably both.
Okay, well, I'll repeat it then. So then I sound like Joe Biden or something, right? Tom Durr, well, I spent that time with Eddie Leland today. That show's supposed to air tonight at 8 o'clock. Okay, after us. But the upload was slow. But Tom goes, hey, man, I think I did say this.
As soon as you started saying
this is a Joe Biden moment, isn't it? Anyway, he said, Don't worry about that water temp. We've caught him in that warm water before. He caught those big. I don't think I did. Now.
Yeah, I told you it was 50 years ago.
Oh, that's right.
But it was 5 minutes ago he said it.
Oh my God, I am frigging losing it. No more working the fair. I can't do it, man.
How long ago was this albacore? Was it 84, 85?
86.
86, yeah.
Oh, get out of
Was it Tom
here.
Durr that told you?
Yeah, I think
okay.
it was. Yeah. I think I was with Eddie Leland
Yeah, Eddie
today.
Leland,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was like 6 hours ago. All right,
He
folks,
was on
I'm
it.
going to get it together here. I
Yeah.
promise. Cue ball.
Keep the albacore questions coming.
Yeah,
Keep them
no,
right
I'm
back
done with
around.
that.
Yeah.
That would negate the tip. These guys on the deck live on tips. Yeah, they do. I mean, tips are very, very important. I'm not trying to dissuade anybody from tipping. I think it's really important because these guys don't make any money.
Right.
You
I
know?
mean, part of the program is that's kind of what their salary is based on is the fact that they're relying on tips.
Yeah,
you guys
totally.
gotta remember that.
I wouldn't work the Orange County Fair
Right.
for the $15 an hour they're
No,
paying
no.
us.
But
I
they know
wouldn't
that.
be
They-
there.
They
Yeah.
know you're gonna get tips, so
Yeah,
it works
right.
out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oscar Geronimo. Finally got over my summer cold. Ready to start fishing. How's everybody doing? Thank God he's over that cold.
Yeah, let's go tomorrow, Oscar. I'm gonna go tomorrow morning on the Monte Carlo coming up, but I think we may be able to dodge it in the morning. We'll have to see, but let's go.
I put a short up just speaking of that weather. Pat Whitaker is heading up on the manana to go to Santa Rosa Island. He says the weather's kicking his butt right now. But he's going to try to make squid and then go to Catalina and have that. But you saw that jerry rig thing he's got going on. He lost his steering pump. I just put a short up. You should check it out. So he's got two ropes that he's using. He pulls this way and it goes starboard. He pulls this way. Just
Cartoon, yeah.
It's really funny. You can check that out. All right, the tops headed to Montana for pike and bass. They've got their normal jigs up there. Any ones I should try from down here?
Pike and bass. I know those hookup baits are kind of making their way,
That's
country,
right.
especially on bass fishing. On the pike, I don't know. Maybe you might try and take maybe a small jig or something. But I don't know. I'm not sure what a pike would eat over there that they don't already have over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe just some other plastics here. I mean, maybe they
Just
haven't
try
seen.
experiment with some stuff, right?
Yeah.
All right. Manny says, "Hey Sam, do you happen to know the rating pound on the split rings that are on Shimano stick baits?"
No, they don't have them listed on the packaging at least. But I would imagine they're going to be in the 40 to 50 pound range. By and large, the guys that are targeting tuna on those lures are typically switching them out to like a number 7 owner split ring. That's going to be the general size for those. But I don't know the factory one. I would imagine if I had to guess, it'd be 40 to 50 pounds.
All right, very good. Shout out to Matt Groff for the best charters in the business. Oscar Geronimo. Who paid him to say that?
I know, man.
Yeah. Omar, hey Phil, for us relatively new fishermen, can you explain what the big deal with this albacore to you, especially when you got all this beautiful bluefin tuna around? Do you want me to? Should I address that or should you?
He's asking you.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, especially you,
Omar.
so-
Yes, I will answer your question. So, Omar, one thing there's a whole bunch of things that make it attractive. Number one, they're great eating. They're hard fighting. They're catchable. They're not that big. They bite in the daytime. So the guys on the boats, like I get hashtags all the time. I might as well, Jacob on the Pegasus, he'll send me a hashtag every morning that says anything but bluefin. And well, he's grateful for bluefin tuna, as we all should be. Man, I mean, they're fishing all night and all day. We're albacore. You get to go out, make your catch. You get a 7-hour run home or whatever it is, wherever the fish are. And so you can do your fish cleaning, actually get some sleep, and actually be able to hang in there for an entire season for the crew. But for anglers, there's just something really special, Omar, about a jig strike, can throwing bait, and then him yelling, "Oh my God, look at these fish coming to the corner." And then 6 guys getting bit, 10 guys getting bit, 12 guys getting bit. And then it just keeps going and going. It's super exciting. It's like these moments of boredom. You're trolling, punctuated by this extreme excitement, and it makes albacore fishing really, really fun. And maybe part of it for me is the nostalgia. I grew up doing that. I was, a teenager working on the Searcher. So, I mean, in those days, it was just so much fun. And then they disappeared. And since they've disappeared, I think I've been longing for that to come back. So the fact that they bite in greater numbers, they're catchable. They bite in the daytime. There's night bites on albacore also. You can shut down in the dark and get a bite going on albies also. But all of those things make them a super attractive. What about you? You hate albacore.
Oh,
Yes,
I love albacore.
I don't like the way you
love
talk.
albacore.
I've heard you whispering about albacore in your sleep.
I wasn't
Don't
saying
tell me how I was around you while you were sleeping.
But
Albacore are dumb. That too.
I think with the
James
albacore,
Moser is right.
The albacore is also too. It's one of those species that I think that if you were around and fishing during those times, in the 80s and the 90s, it was the one tuna that you can kind of almost rely on coming to our water, and it got people excited to just go. So guys would go Monterey, guys would go down to San Diego, LA guys. I mean, we had such good fishing here with yellowtail and stuff like that, but if the albacore started to bite, you would go to San Diego, or you would follow them to all the way up to
Morro
Monterey,
Bay or wherever,
Morro Bay or wherever, And so it was one of those species of fish that just captivated, I think, all of Southern California. There was never any real size to them. I mean, obviously we caught those ones, but in the channel, but it wasn't really something that you were looking for big fish like we are with the bluefin. Now a 50-pound bluefin is like, oh, that's a little one.
And a 50-pound albacore is like a gigantic
Monster.
albacore.
Yeah. I mean, typical albacore, 12 to 15 pounds. You catch a whole limit of those things. But, they do taste good, all that kind of stuff. But I think it was just one of those kind of like yearly species that you can almost rely on being here. Once in a while, we would catch some yellowfin. Once in a while, a big eye would come through, and would come through, stuff like that. You'd catch other tuna, but the albacore was kind of like, almost like the yellowtail of our tuna, that you would look forward to it. And also, too, at times, you had to be a pretty good fisherman. So you mentioned earlier about a half-day boat fisherman. Anybody?
Yeah.
Well, on the albacore boats was the same thing. You had to be able to fish an anchovy, and doing that even back then, with all the tackle that we had with light stuff, wasn't that easy. So you'd have a boat that'd go out and catch like 40 albacore, and 3 guys would catch them all because then they can cast a bait.
Yeah.
And so that was another thing too. That the albacore, it was one of those fish that you can kind of like when you came back, and you were talking about how your trip was, and said, well, how many did you guys get? Well, we got 60 of them. Yeah, but how many did you get? If you got a larger than the average majority, you felt like, oh,
right,
I knew what I was doing, right? You almost say if there was 10 10 guys on the boat and they caught 60, you better catch more than 6.
Yes,
that you could show that you're better than the rest of them. So the albacore also brought some of that around too. So I think in some respects we always kind of look for that being the marker of just a good fisherman and a good experience too. But I mean, I remember a lot of albacore trips we didn't catch nothing too.
I
think people forget those as well.
Those were definite trips, man.
2-day trips, not one fish,
And full speed the day before.
Yeah.
And then you go and they're gone.
And you'd catch them even sometimes on a 2-day trip. You'd catch them all in a half an hour.
Yeah.
Full speed, half an hour. Everyone's done. All right, let's go home.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
It's a cool species for sure. They look pretty in the water as well.
They're bitching with their wings out.
Following the boat. It's a pretty cool species too. It's just all the way around a good game fish.
Yeah, it totally is. I remember one night on the Searcher, and I was a young kid, 18, 17 probably, and they were like, on the Searcher, they were calling up to the ticket office going, I want everybody on the boat. We were going 110 miles on a one-day trip.
Yeah.
And it felt like the boat was going to shake up. You could feel that whoever's running the boat, I don't know if it was Frank, I can't remember whether it was LaPresse, I think it might have been Frank, and it was like a different feel to it. And we got down there at 110 miles, put the jigs in the water, and it went like quadruple jig strike, 100 fish, and then pretty much heading back home. But
yeah, I mean, decks littered with fish. How many times you're walking back to the bait tank, you can't even hardly get to the bait tank because there's fish everywhere. So just those scenes, I think, like you said, the nostalgia kind of brings back something that you
Yeah, and speaking of nostalgia, this just popped into my head. I remember being on the Pegasus with Joe Chait, Scott Mizell, who owns the Condor. He was a deckhand. J.J. Garrettson, who owned the Apollo for many years, was a deckhand. Kids, like.
Yeah.
And they had this thing called the cranium hook. I go, what the hell are you guys talking about? They had this freaking like 14-0 hook. And they go, do it, man. When they come to the corner, you take a bait, like a small anchovy. Yeah. It looks stupid, but they were so full speed, you drop it in, and when you swung on the fish, the hook would pretty much go up into there. And you just wind as hard as you can and then gaff it and take no line. So there's a lot of fun stuff about it. Omar, I hope we've swayed you over. One of these days, you'll get into a full-speed albie bite, and hopefully you'll feel the love, the power of it. Mia Var, I want a discount, a bait caster rod. You giving any discounts?
That sounds like the beginning of a song.
I want a discount on a bait caster rod. We don't sell bait caster rods in small towns. Wasn't there a big controversy about small towns? Maybe not. Okay.
Sorry about that.
People are throwing up out there. Are you giving discounts?
Come on down. I got some discount based.
Come on down. Sam will make a deal with you.
That's right.
540 Slinger, that is Jeff Yeomans. Jeff just sent me a video of him catching a nice yellowtail. That was a nice catch. Jeff, he was just on board the Pride. They had a great trip. Wide open calicos, good yellowtail fishing. And Jeff says, on my charters, jackpot money goes back to the crew. And JP Winter gets a T-shirt from the boat and bragging rights.
There you go.
Yeah, that's good, right?
Yeah.
I don't actually do it that way, but I might. Just hearing that, it sounds good to me. I just like pray that, oh, thank God he won the jackpot because he's going to give it to the crew, you know. Because, I feel that way about it. I remember one time my brother and I took first, second, third place on the Pegasus. And Joe Che goes, here you go. Gave us like $500 or whatever. We go, here, stick this up here.
Yeah.
And he goes, hey, thanks, boys. Dan Lightfoot, Michael is not happy. We're not down there. He tried very hard. Yeah, what kind of a grandfather are you anyway? Really, Dan? You should have Michael down here hanging out with us. Michelle says, thank you for the great advice, Sam. Or probably was my advice, not yours.
Most likely.
The Duck. What's up, everyone? Tough day on the tuna grounds. Just stay on the Freedom. Tuna everywhere. We're not eating 20-pound fluoro, number 4 hook. But man, what a beautiful day out there. That was yesterday. Trevor Downing, who runs the Freedom now, I didn't get a chance. It was like 2 minutes before we went on air. He sent me a shot of tuna all over the deck of the Freedom. So they had a better day today, it looks like. I didn't get a chance to talk to him. I know yesterday, both the Thunderbird and the Freedom, they were watching a beautiful show, Sam. I mean, just fish coming out of the water, but they had lockjaw for some reason. And that happens, right?
It happens.
Yeah, for sure. So, crazy stuff. All right, Michelle. Oops, this damn thing.
Yeah, she's done some fishing in Baja, but she's new to Cali.
Oh, okay.
All right, Michelle, yeah.
And, yeah,
Great
I love
fishing.
Oh, there she is, yeah. Hold on one second. I'm catching up here, Sam. There we are. Cue ball. Turn the handle. Jamie Argent says, hi, Philip. Albacore. Hey, Jamie. Good to see you. Javier Lopez. Hey, Phil, I think you can officially say your albacore prediction came true. Javier, I want you to come down here tonight, and I want to give you a hug. Do we have like a key to the city or a key to the tackle shop that I can give Javier? This man, Javier is a man of great truth and vision. I like him. Daniel says, hopefully the albacore keeps showing up.
Hopefully.
Phil, we called it. You see, everybody's taking credit on this now. Isaac, hi, Phil. Dan's keeping an eye on me while I do my chores. Oh, that's what Dan Lightfoot is doing tonight. Michelle wants to know, do you have a suggestion for a captain and boat? I'll let you get in trouble on that one.
Well, it depends on where you're at, and
what you want to do.
Yeah, what you want to do. Here in LA, we definitely push the local landings, whether it's going to be 22nd Street Landing, Long Beach Sport Fishing, Pier Point, Redondo Sport Fishing, or Marina Del Rey. So all the LA landings they've done a really good job of kind of upgrading their service and making sure they have a good selection of boats. So not sure where you're headed out of or where do you live, but any of the LA landings you'd be in good hands.
Yeah. Cue Ball said with that double jig strike, he said there was a school of fish there. Maybe, maybe not. Because you get a double jig strike and a bait fish, double jig.
A bait fish, I think, is a little bit more of an oddity. A double jig strike, for sure, I think was definitely more than 2 fish.
Let's hope so, right, man? Let's hope there's more coming. Tim P
but maybe
says,
not.
Yeah, I know. Tim P says the San Diego Day Fleet got skunked today. And Tim, are you talking about the guys that leave in the morning, come back in the evening? San Diego, Grande, Mission Bell, all those boys. They've been having very tough fishing for about 3 days now, Sam. Back to San Diego. Think about this. I think they leave at 5 a.m. Mm-hmm. They freaking went 50 miles.
Yeah. And they do it all the time.
50, I know.
It's crazy.
And I'm saying that because they'll go to any extreme to catch you fish.
And they'll stay late.
Yeah.
They'll get off the dock quick and stay late. I mean, those guys are hardcore, about as good, as far as your value of what you're going to pay down there. Sometimes it seems expensive, but those guys charge hard, and, the results show for it.
Yeah, they do. They're really good fishermen. Mm-hmm. It is so hard on that run. If you zig instead of you zagging, you're screwed. And, man, they pull it off more times than not.
Seems like it.
So, speaking of that, Tim, and I think you're talking about those guys. One thing that they have been seeing a little bit more of, did you see the flathead scores? There's more Dorados starting to show up.
I haven't.
Grande had 11 yesterday. Okay. The Relentless, I think it was a one-day trip, had 40-something.
saw that.
Dorado. Yeah, probably saw that on that show, The Morning Briefing.
No.
That guy that stands down on the
Yeah.
beach.
As soon
He's
as that
funny.
comes on, I always
He's really a
change it.
brilliant guy.
Yeah, I change it.
People,
Yeah.
you change.
I blocked the channel
Yeah.
recently. I just recently
Yeah.
blocked the
Oh, you
channel.
blocked?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why? He's too insane for you? All right. Anyway, back to the show. Joe, to use a treble, assist at the top, treble on the bottom. Does it depend on the size of the jig?
Yeah, it definitely does depend on the size of the jig. Most of those rip rollers are longer jigs. And so I'd say either or. Either the double assist hook on the bottom or the treble. And some guys are still doing, top and bottom hooks. I know that lately, especially this year, but lately we've been seeing some more reports of guys getting hooked, crew members and stuff like that. So I think some of the boats are kind of recommending that you just put both the hooks or whatever hooks you put on one side of the jig only, just for safety reasons. But I think you're okay either way. We've kind of gone round and round on this here for at least a year or so, trying to see what the quote-unquote best is. But I think what we found out is as long as you have good sharp hooks that are strong, that's your number one thing you got to think about. But after that, as far as where you put them, I don't know if it's a big deal as far as getting bit or staying hook, a fish staying on the hook. But I would kind of like talk to the crew as you get on the boat and see if they have any recommendations to do one way or another.
All right, 150 people watching the show right now. Yes, so that's getting up there, man. And hit that like button, please. We would deeply appreciate that. I need to tell you before we get back into the questions that the El Patron has a trip Saturday night out of 22nd Street Landing. It's a day-and-a-half trip. It would behoove you to get on that trip. 310-832-8304. We are on board the Horizon August 15th out of H&M Landing, day-and-a-half trip. Few spots left on that one. I'm supposed to pin you down and say, are you going to be on that trip or not? People out there want to know.
What trip?
Yeah, okay. Call H&M Landing. I have all these numbers in my head. Pretty good, right?
Yeah.
What is it? 619-222-1144. And maybe you will make this one. We've just added a trip on the El Patron.
Really?
Yes, September the 15th, which is a Friday, 6
do it
a.m. to 6 p.m. You can make that.
No.
Yeah, you can. James will fill in for you.
Yeah.
6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
on.
If you'd like to get on that trip, send me a text. That's the only number I won't remember, right? My own phone number. 657-227-6459. Fishing's great here in SoCal and Northern Baja. And Sam De La Torre at Island Fishing Tackle is at your service Monday through Saturday. Sam, give us the details of your store, phone number, and hours of operation.
We are at 21809 Avalon Boulevard in the city of Carson. Phone number here is 310-707-1205.
William,
We're open Monday through Friday from Monday through Saturday.
Yeah.
10 to 6.
Okay. Did I cut you off? What happened?
You may continue.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. William Padilla says, hey, Sam, you suck on your albacore predictions. Phil Friedman nailed it. No, he says, hey, Sam, is the Okuma Californian rod and reel any good?
I'm not familiar with that one, the Californian one. I'll have to look it up, but most likely it may be a lower end rod. But I'll have to check that out. I mean, or maybe send me a link of something of what you're looking at there.
All right, perfect. Joe says, hey, Phil, can you give us a Danny shout up hookup? Yeah, I can do that. Me or you?
You. He said,
hook up! Is that good?
That was pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not bad, right?
All right.
That's how it goes. All right, that's another reason why albacore fishing is so much fun. Cue ball. We just got limits on the Tribute. Great trip 4 days ago.
There you go.
There's been some great scores, man. That biomass of fish out there on Tanner Bank is mind-boggling.
Yeah.
I hear 5 miles of jumping fish, and it's just insane. And I'm guessing, I haven't heard this for a fact, but this 70-degree water out here, there's got to be some Dorado on kelps that are going to show up here very, very soon.
Yeah. I would imagine by next week, some on every single boat, every single day, I think, yeah.
Yeah. Isaac, who is a great guy, Isaac says that sounds like a bluefin, yellowfin, yellowtail Dorado. Just go fish. Sorry, Phil. Oh, he's worried about albacore. Hey, Scott Buchert from Bristol Bay, Alaska says, hi, Sam and Phil are the best. He's including me. It's usually you're the best.
Yeah, you're gaining. You're gaining.
No. You don't understand, Scott.
You're gaining.
Scott needs something. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Right when the show ends, he'll be on the phone like, hey, I need a tie one, blah, blah, blah. All right, Scott, good to hear from you. William Padilla, can anyone recommend a good 3/4 day that's trying to target top water? Everybody's doing that right now, I think William.
Everybody
But
is, yeah.
do you want to give any recommendations?
Same thing, all the local boats. I mean, I think everybody's fishing that bass right now. It's so good. So yeah, any of the LA boats, I would recommend. You know, everything from the New Del Mar down to Native Sun, Pursuit. You know, the Victory. All those guys, I think, are doing a lot of that right now.
Yeah, they're all over. It's
good fishing.
It's great fishing.
Yeah.
It's like decades ago, Sam.
It is.
I'm waiting for another joke out of you. Oscar Zarate says, the fantastic duo.
Oh,
that's
man.
you and me. Woo, Sam. Thank you so much, Oscar. Carlos Sanchez, what's the limit on albacore, dorado, and yellowfin? So albacore, I think, is in U.S. waters is 10.
10, I believe.
Used to be no limit,
Yeah.
which I thoroughly enjoyed, I must admit. So it's 10, I believe. Mexico, I don't know, 5?
5, yeah. 5 per day, yeah.
Right. 5 on yellowfin, 2 on dorado.
2 on dorado for Mexico.
And when you catch 2 dorado,
it counts as 5.
it counts as 5. And I think that goes with marlin also, right?
Yeah.
2 marlin, or?
I think 2 marlin. Yeah.
And then you're up to 5. So if that makes any sense, because Mexico has different limits than we do. So you got to kind of keep your eye on that, Carlos. Wild Willie, don't knock the great bluefin tuna we are having here now. I'm not knocking it.
Guy knocks
No.
every single day.
Hey, Wild Willie, I love bluefin.
So when the albacore come and the bluefin guy,
No.
Right
No, they can coexist. They live together. Can't we all just get along together?
I hope they do.
The
but
bluefin
if
and the
they
albacore?
don't, we know where to point the finger.
Where? Right there,
right
James
here.
Moser. Yeah, it's his fault. He's over there playing games on his phone. Like, what, me? I can
He's
remember
the questions.
I know. I can remember the only way we caught bluefin tuna was on I'm starting to read like a moron now. I knew that was coming. On a 3-day or longer to get the BFT. The albacore was just a half-day trip. Now times have changed. Yeah, that's true. Half-day trip for albacore? I don't remember that.
I'm sure it's happened, but man, not too many times.
Yeah, right. Hey, Sam, do you got any more Blue and Lewis in the shop? You know what that is?
No.
I don't
Sorry,
either.
man.
Daniel,
Yeah.
you might have to rephrase that.
Yeah.
Yes. All right.
Maybe he was doing the text talk or something like that.
I think he was. Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Why are you
happens to
laughing
me
at him,
too.
man? It's just-
I had one I sent to some woman once. I said, like, can you meet, for the meeting tomorrow? And it said, can you have sex? I swear to God, it came out and I didn't send it.
Oh, man.
And I'm like, oh my God, what the hell is this crap? I'm done with this. Just
going to pull over and text.
Yeah, at least that was going to to be my excuse
Yeah.
when my wife saw the text. Yeah, I don't know what happened, sweetheart. I said, can you meet for a meeting? Okay. Omar says, those were amazing answers, guys. So glad I asked the question and can't wait to hook my first albacore.
Yeah.
Omar, you're going to love it. It's really good stuff. Ken says, for me, it was slaying the albacore on the slide. Hardcore for albacore. Yeah, I love it too, Ken. You're so right, man. On the slide, and you don't have to throw a bait. You can throw,
A jig,
plastic,
anything.
Yeah. Did you ever yo-yo for, throw a yo-yo iron for?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That works too? Works a little better, I think, on yellowfin, but.
That's kind of when we first started getting started on those mega bait jigs. The kind of when the albacore went out, and you would fish them like a yo-yo jig. So I did a lot of that.
Yeah. All right, Michelle says, thanks for the suggestion. Michelle, thank you for joining us tonight. Carlos says, what's the name of your tackle shop? No, we don't have time for that.
No.
Let's move on. Go ahead, Sam.
Island Fishing Tackle.
Island
Carlos.
Fishing Tackle.
Island Fishing Tackle.
Well, I got to write a song about that.
Sounds like a song.
It does.
But we'll think about that later.
You want me to sing it
No,
now? Sure?
I'm positive.
You don't want an improv right now.
100%.
Island Fishing Tackle. Where, I don't know, where something
you,
happens.
Carlos.
Dan Smith. Phil, Sam, one of the albacore I saw in one of the pictures had a shredded tail. That fish has been swimming in a tight school. Oh, man, I like the way you think, Dan. I hope that is a sign of more fish and not just a big, clean, tall scout. Yes.
Spectre. You didn't see that. No.
You're bad. I don't know what you have against albacore. They never did anything to you, did they?
I'm just trying to speak the truth, you know. I mean,
Hey, I'm the one who said
that's all it is.
there's been albacore, man.
Yeah.
Omar, hey Sam, hollow or solid braid? Which is better for that 100-pound bluefin? Are there brands you would recommend over others?
Either or. As far as the hollow and the solid, it really is going to be something that you're going to choose the hollow because you're doing a hollow type connection. Not really anything better or worse about it as far as what kind of fish you're targeting. And as far as the brands, there's so much good line out now. Back in the day, when we first started getting Spectra, it was all about Isoline. They were the innovators of braid, at least here on the West Coast. Now there's so much out there with Power Pro, with J Braid, Odyssey braid, all that stuff is so good. I don't really have a really strong preference. Some of them feel different, so some people like the way one feels over the other, but that's really more of a personal preference than it is, a strength preference or something like that. So there's a lot of good stuff out there.
All right, very good. 120 people watching right now. We're up to 43 likes. Hit that like button, everybody. Deeply appreciate all you do. David Alcantar says his buddy was on the Relentless with Captain Mikey. Mike's a great guy, and they got a great crew on there, and he said they saw a ton of flatheads, a lot of Dorado, man.
Yeah.
You think we're going to get a replay of? We might, man, with this El Nino.
Yeah.
Last year was just so phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's a hard one.
It's hard to say that can kind of happen again, but I mean that stuff when it comes through, you got to kind of get on it. Sometimes it'll come through like the Barracuda do, where all of a sudden they're everywhere, and then all of a sudden they're gone.
Yeah.
So when it starts to come through, I recommend you guys try to get on a boat and get some.
You know what blows me away about bites like that is that was the most phenomenal Dorado bite we've ever seen.
History,
right? Yeah. How used to it you get. Like after about a week, everybody's like, oh, they only had 80 Dorado. Geez, what's good? It's weird, right?
Yeah. It's human nature.
It is human nature, totally.
It's human nature. It's one of those things. Just people always want more.
I know, but it is kind of weird. Dan's phone is dead, says Isaac. He wants to know if you're going out tomorrow, he'll come down. You're going out, right?
Yeah.
Look, you're getting people on the Monte Carlo.
Right now, my plans are to go out tomorrow morning on the Monte Carlo. So.
Right. Don't buy your ticket in the ticket office. See Sam and give him the money, and he'll get, he said he's got some way of getting you on.
Special deal,
yeah, right?
Yeah, you get a free
You're buying dinner tonight now. Yeah, it's up to you. Sam's going to be out there. I'm not going to be out there. And Isaac just sends us $20.
Phew,
Isaac, thank you. And by the way, hey, Sam. Isaac, I love you. 10,000 subscribers now here on the Friedman Adventures channel.
10,000.
10,000.
Wow.
So we've zoomed up to that pretty quick.
Done something.
I don't know. We've done something.
We've done something.
Yeah, 10,000 is pretty quick. And so then YouTube sent me another thing, and it said you had 91.7 thousand people visit your YouTube channel last week. So that's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Over 500,000 views. So, man, thank you for making that a reality. Thank you, guys. Those are the guys, right?
It's the least I could do.
No, well, you could buy dinner tonight.
Maybe it's the most I can do.
You gonna stick James again? Poor guy. All right, get some dinner, gentlemen. Oh, that's right. Well, I was trying to kind of hide that, Isaac, so I could pocket the 20.
You got 20 on there.
No. That's not how this works. Raul, Phil, Sam, good evening. Going on a 3/4 day this Saturday on the Gale Force. What setup should I bring? Good question.
Yeah, 15, 20, 25, and 30 pound. Looks like right now that's been the case over there. The same kind of surface type fishing, a little bit of yellowtail, but mostly on the smaller side and live bait fishing. I haven't really heard of a whole lot of jig fishing happening there, so I don't know about taking a jig rod, but I would if it was me. I always take a jig rod. Yeah.
In case there's some barracuda.
Yeah, or even the yellowtail. Sometimes they come up and splash around. That's the way to get them too. But I'd take everything from 15 to 30 pound, and then maybe a jig stick on top of that.
Sea West Outdoors wants to know about private boater etiquette, which is a very good question. Thank you for asking. I'm not sure how to take that question, whether you want to know the etiquette on the part of the private boater or the sport boat. I've seen sport boat guys get out of control. I've seen private boater guys get out of control. I was on a boat once, or a sailboat. I was like 12 years old. It was funnier than hell. A sailboat, I won't even say who the captain was, went so close to our stern. He was in the galley so fast with a dozen eggs and just nailed this guy, just creamed him. So, yeah, you don't want to get too close to the sport boats. There's no reason to do it. You run through their chum line. You shut down the bite for 30 people that are on there. It's brutal. But On the other hand, you don't want to be casting 8-ounce torpedoes at the private boaters
right.
either and hurt somebody.
Yeah.
So
On both sides.
Yeah.
It's
Speak up.
You have to respect the private boaters when it comes to with the sport boat guys.
yeah,
Which the 99.9% of the time they do. And then when it comes to private boaters respecting the sport boat guys, I see them run right through their chum line.
right. They're
It's-
too like they have no clue.
Yeah.
It's almost like you got to get mad at them because they're screwing your bite up,
Well,
but
not only
they're
their
clueless.
bite, yes.
Yeah,
Not only their bite, but other bites, because they're just
yeah,
they're being totally relentless. It's just like
Well,
Yep.
I think what happens, a lot of times is, especially with the sport boat guys, they have so many obstacles. They have to have good bait. They have to have weather. They have to have current. They have to, run away from the seals. They have to do all this stuff.
this is their livelihood.
Yeah, and so they're
Right.
really trying
we don't
hard.
need- as private boaters.
Yeah.
We don't need to put
Right.
out numbers.
This
Right,
is
right.
this is their livelihood.
That is
Yeah.
their livelihood. They need numbers at the end of the day.
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
order
for
to-
whatever reason, it doesn't matter why they didn't catch a limit of sand bass. The boat that catches the limit is the one who's going to get passengers the next day. So it's really important for those guys to be able to have as best a situation as possible. And fishing is still fishing. Everybody has a right to go fishing wherever they want, within reason, and making sure that you're not affecting the other guy. And a lot of times, I think what happens, like Phil's saying, and like I think what we're trying to say is, there's usually going to be the result of somebody just not knowing how to do it. But as far as etiquette, a lot of times you kind of should know better.
Yeah.
But it goes both ways. I've seen it both ways. But by and large, I think the sport boat guys get really upset because they're daily. It's a very situation of trying to make a catch happen that
Right,
it's
'cause
so
there's-
hard.
There's more. We'll just say ignorant private boaters.
Yeah.
When they cut through the chum line of a commercial boat, and it's just like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it drives the guys
Yeah.
nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they just
And
got
I-
so much already.
I've
Right.
had guys. I mean, I'll pull up a picture. I've had guys where we were the only guys on the horseshoe, and all of a sudden we got 60 guys around us within an hour and a half.
Can you guys hear James, by the way? Just put a comment up there. I want to make sure, or you might have to move closer to that camera a little bit. But yeah, absolutely.
But guess what? The horseshoe's huge.
Yeah.
The spots that are not even marked on the horseshoe, we've been slipping anchor, which my fault. But at the same time, like all of a sudden the fishing got better.
Yeah.
And we're in like some random spot that's not even
Marked
not even
anywhere.
there, and all of a sudden we're catching whitefish that are that are
Big as yellowtail. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
All right, back to good stuff. By the way, I mentioned the guy that threw the eggs at the the harbor police were waiting for us when we got and he BS'd his way out of it. But yeah, well, I don't know. It wasn't us.
Me.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Cue ball. That'll stop the boat. Okay. Omar, those Californians are made by Turner's Outdoorsmen. They use
Turner's.
both Akuma and Phoenix blanks to make that brand of rod.
Yeah. I think a few years ago, I think Turner's had these rods made, and they seem pretty good. I know we've had a couple in here for repair and stuff like that, but the blanks seem fine. I don't know how heavy they go, but they seem to be okay rods. Yeah. I mean, I would say if it's something that you got, I wouldn't go out and replace it. It's a good rod.
All right, a reminder also that we are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you listen to your podcast, you can hear Sam on there. Oh, probably a couple hours when this is over, I upload it and put it on there also. So you're able to watch that. Those stats we're giving you, like 10,000 subscribers, that's just YouTube. No, that's just YouTube. We're on Apple Podcasts, TikTok. We had one TikTok post that got 3.4 million views. So
Jeez.
yeah, so we're on a roll here, thanks to
It's
you,
one of those.
man. Let me tell you. Sea West Outdoors, do you know those guys?
Chris is one of my very best friends.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe.
Wild card got up and running.
All right, Chris, we love you. He says James knows all about private boaters etiquette. I didn't know if that was a little shot at you or he was being complimentary.
No,
I hope it's a shot. No.
As much as the sport boats don't like private boaters don't like private boaters who don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
for
true.
sure.
Very true.
So it's like when you're going to the bait receiver, and you're in line, like, don't be asking for help for a jump on your boat because you turned off your boat. You need to turn off your boat. You're worried about saving fuel. Probably shouldn't be owning a boat.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, current jam. Hey guys, aside from protection from rubbing against other lines, what are the benefits of having heavy braid when we use much lighter test fluorocarbon?
Yeah,
Sam?
that's probably the.
This sounds like a question for you.
Yeah, yeah.
You're hesitating.
Well, I'm trying to kind of like figure out what he's getting at here a little bit, but you know, as far as the braid is concerned, for sure it doesn't do as well to rubbing like that. So, you know, that's always going to be something that you want to be able to protect against. You know, the other part of it too is that in general, the braid for the pound test may not have as much shock strength. So like, let's say a 50-pound test braid may break at 40 or maybe even 30 pounds of pressure under shock load, whereas your leader might break under much heavier shock load. You know, so you want to be able to have something that's a little heavier, so you wouldn't go 50 to 50, because now in a shock load situation, you might have this braid breaking first. So, I mean, there's definitely a few different things out there that maybe even further so, but it's just a safer way to go. And the braid is so thin that you can go a lot heavier as well. And also, too, one of the things is that it makes your reel a little bit more versatile. So, like, let's say if you have a reel and you have 65-pound braid on it, you could use 20, 30, 40, or 50-pound test leader on it, making that reel a lot more versatile. So that's another reason to go a little heavier. I always say you want to have about 400 yards, I would say, minimum on most of your live bait reels. So whatever size line that would fit that much line is about the size I would use on that reel, kind of as a general rule.
Perfect. You know what I say about that? Albacore!
That's two.
Yeah.
So
there was three.
Oh, was three?
Oh,
Okay,
oh
we're
that's
done.
3 yells.
Oh, we're done.
No, that's two.
Thank you.
The hookup doesn't count. I was asked to do the hookup.
All right,
so
you
I
get
have
one more. You get one more.
All right. Michelle says, thanks for acknowledging this newbie. Michelle, thanks for being here. We really appreciate it. William Padilla, Omar, thanks. Bro, appreciate it. PNS Harnack, last week after the show, did you guys end up night fishing from the docks? Or was Sam all talk and no fish? Well, Sam, perhaps you can gloat now in your glory because you outfished us all that night. In fact, I put that on the morning briefing. There was some video. Go ahead, tell everybody.
I was 1,000% better than the rest of these guys. I snagged one smelt. That's all I got. But yeah, we went.
We went and we tried.
We tried.
We goofed off with all the guys on the Amigo and the Freedom.
We proved that we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, really. We tried to keep that kind of secret, but thanks for following up on that. Steve Bermudez, what were the colors of the jigs for albacore?
Your trolling jigs or your casting jigs? I know on the casting jigs it was kind of more just your chrome, some kind of black and chrome, you know, or silver and chrome, or some anchovy type kind of color, I guess. But we did use a lot of that plastic, that China Island anchovy, which is kind of a blue and gray color. On your trolling jigs, man, that can get crazy. Everybody had their own favorite, everywhere from a Mexican flag to, like, you know, guys that like black and white jigs, brown and white jigs. I mean, you know, all white jigs, all black jigs. I mean, as far as the trolling jigs we're talking here. But man, that with the feathers was crazy. It was almost like this Mad Max where everybody had to have like the secret color.
Yeah.
Back then it was like the same thing. You know, everybody's like, they would bring in a feather that they had that their grandpa gave them, and they're like, I need one just like this. I'm like, man, I've never seen that before. It's like,
right.
Oh man, we catch the hell out of these fish with these. I'm like, but as far as the trolling jigs, it really got kind of crazy on that. But on the casting jigs, more your chrome or
chrome is like tuna. Yeah,
I would say, you know. But nowadays we have so many jigs. I'm sure all these Colt Snipers and Zakana jigs and all that stuff, I'm sure it would work really, really good.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. In fact, you could probably drop one of these frickin', you know, one of these rip rollers or one of those and probably get a bite on those
That's what I was
things.
thinking when you were talking about how it's a daytime fish.
Yeah.
I would imagine that once they do get here in 2028, 2029, or whenever the year is, that's
Oh, you are so pessimistic. We're
We're going to be probably fishing them at night too.
Yeah.
As crazy as it seems.
No, you know what?
I don't see why not.
I don't either.
I don't see why not.
I mean, I shut down many times and
Yeah.
got a night bite on albies.
Yeah. I mean, they're under the boat. A lot of times they'll just be sitting under the boat all night, but I doubt anybody was fishing. You know, I mean, very, very few times I ever heard of anybody fishing at night, especially not with knife jigs.
Yeah, never.
Never.
Somebody would drop a bait over and go, oh, shit,
Yeah, I
you know,
got
what's
one.
going on here?
I caught a bunch of them, you know, early morning when it was still dark. You know, 4 in the morning or something like that. You
Yeah.
just up, you just throw a bait out. You're like, oh, I got one, you know?
I know, it's like
It's pretty
amazing.
common, yeah. But it would seem like a crazy thing.
Right.
But I bet you there was 99.9% of the time, no one ever fished at night. And a lot of times the boat would be underway, kind of setting up. They'd be looking for a tent break or something like that. So
Right.
that in the morning they could start trolling right on that tent break.
Right.
Everything was kind of like, okay, right at daybreak we're going to start working. But no one really worked at night as far as catching them. So
Yep.
we'll have to see.
Daniel says, do you have any blue aluas in the shop?
blue aluas.
Blue aluas.
I don't. I might have one built rod over there, but yeah, those blue aluas that I had. He's talking about the Secret EX rods.
Yeah.
I know that later on they made some other ones too, but I had a whole bunch of those here at the shop a few years ago, but those are all gone now.
Macus wants to know what your favorite jigs to bring on a full day boat to Catalina. I guess he's talking like the Pursuit or one of those guys that heads over there.
Yeah, everything from a Tatty C, Tatty 45. There's so many good jigs out there. The Salas 7X, the JRI number 7. I like that one a lot too. I don't know if I would narrow it down to 2 or 3 jigs, probably a dozen jigs or so that I would call my favorite. And usually when I help people out, I try to make sure that they're taking a smaller jig and a little bit larger jig. Something like an A1 would be on the smaller side, Tatty C in the middle, and maybe a 45 on the larger side. And try to kind of spread it out that way. And maybe even go with the lighter or brighter color, like your mint color, then maybe like a darker color, like a scrambled egg color. That'll get you around, 10 or 12 jigs once you get all the different sizes and colors.
All right, good stuff. 140 people watching right now. Hit that like button, please. Come down and visit Sam. Will there be a discount? Or do we?
Maybe.
Hey, nobody sent us any food for like 3 weeks. What's going on with
I
that?
don't know what you do.
Huh?
That's your fault.
I mean, is it James? Ever since James started coming?
It could be. It could be.
Maybe we should play down the fact that he bought dinner so he doesn't get screwed and
Could be, yeah,
somebody
yeah.
sends us some food. What do you want, James? Pizza?
Whatever you guys want.
Oh, all right, there you go. All right. And also, Sam will be on the Monte Carlo at a 22nd Street landing tomorrow morning with his kids. So if you want to meet Sam or go hang out with him, tomorrow's a good day. September 15th, we're on board the El Patron. Send me a text, 657-227-6459. That trip's almost all full, and our trip out of H&M pretty full also. That's on the horizon, day and a half. Sam will be on board there for sure. If he's not, he'll refund all your tickets. Call the landing. August 15th with Friedman Adventures on the horizon. 619-222-1144. That's H&M Landing. P.N.S. Harnick. Is there a specific aftermarket reel clamp?
Yeah, I think for a deckhand style rod for the Fathom 25. The Tiburon they make a clamp for that. I forget whether it's the extra large size. It's usually marked on the package. Tiburon clamps. That's kind of what I use on all my jig sticks with most of my reels. But that would be the way I would go.
Tiburon is still a thing, huh?
Still a thing, yeah.
Yeah?
We saw a lot of their products.
Who runs Tiburon now?
It's Rich.
Uh-huh.
Rich, yeah. I forget his last name off the top of my head here, but does a good job. Makes all the handles. They don't make the reels anymore, but they have all the handles and the clamps. So a bunch of those still.
Wow, that's all right. All right, Guznav Slavic. Oh man, I didn't think yo-yos could be used for yellowfin and albacore. Oh yeah,
sure.
And Sam's right about chrome. I mean, pretty much when you're fishing tuna, it's a chrome jig. I mean, I can remember Buzz Brizendine telling me that.
That's what we always use, but I've caught them on a blue and white jig. I've caught them on a scrambled egg jig too.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't get too caught in on trying to buy the secret yo-yo jig for tuna. Any of these jigs, as we can see now from all this knife jig stuff, and the Eddie Bomb, just a torpedo sinker. I bet you'd throw a 4-ounce torpedo sinker down, you probably catch it.
Probably,
Sure,
yeah.
At times.
I've been up in the back of some boats when there's albies like going crazy, and you throw your jig, and they're just batting it, like
They don't even
it's
hardly
sinking.
eat it.
Yeah, it's just like so cool. Martin M, what's the difference between the Cal Star 540 10-foot and the 100J all glass rod?
So that 540 is going to be on a little bit larger mandrel, which meaning that it's got a little bit larger butt diameter, the bottom of the rod. It'll be a little faster as well on the CalStar. And the old 540s, they were actually slower, meaning that they bent more throughout the rod. But on these CalStars, they're a little bit faster with a little bit lighter tip. That 100J is a more moderate taper, kind of more parabolic, which would be kind of more of a traditional jig stick type bend to it. Also has a little bit thicker wall material, so if you're going to clamp your reel on there for heavier jig fishing, a lot of guys like that one. But they're both really good. They're pretty similar, but if you pull on them next to each other, you'll see that the one's faster than the other. And I think we have both of them here right now. So if you want to come down and check them out.
Sam, you were talking about your great yellowfin and croaker bite over here in Redondo, was it? Is that where you're fishing?
Yeah,
Were you
fishing
fishing near
Topaz. Yeah,
Topaz Jetty?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's great. Noli Yan Jr. is a guy
Yeah.
that, you know him?
Yeah, no.
He's a
yeah,
great
yeah,
guy,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
He's creaming the Corvina right now,
Yeah.
digging up sand crabs, and he goes, man, it's game on.
He's like the Corbina master.
He's
man.
such
Yeah,
a
he
good
gets
guy.
them, yeah.
He's a very nice
Yeah.
person, and yeah, he's been having great luck, so that is great. Scott Bucher is back, and guess what he said? Sam and Phil are the best.
They are.
Yes. Boy, am I going to get hit up on the way home for something. I don't know what it is. Current jam, Sam. What do you think about the Graphtec spinning rods?
Yeah, same as the other rods too. Like I was mentioning earlier, it's a great product for the price. I think they're around $200 or so, and they make them in an 8-foot and an 8.5. So pretty nice rods actually for the money. We sell a ton of them, and actually I just got some more in the other day. And if you want to get out with a nice spinning rod, those are definitely a good choice.
What do they run in terms of
About
price?
$200.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What would you pair it with, depending
Depending on the size. They have
Yeah.
all kinds of models, everything from like a 15-pound rod all the way to like a 60, 80-pound rod. So, for whatever application you're looking for, they have something for it too, for our local fishing.
Perfect. William Padilla is sitting out there right now, and he wants to know if the Colt snipers are working. And I've heard that they are working. So
Yeah.
what do you say?
It seems like it's coming on a little bit in the beginning of the season. I didn't hear too much about them, but it seems lately here we've been hearing a little bit more. There's been some more foamer type fishing. There's been some more surface fishing on the bluefin and even that yellowfin too. So it seems like now the last week or so, I definitely have heard more and actually been seeing a lot more of them come over through the register. So it seems like it's turning on.
Scott Bucher just sent us some money. He's a great guy. This does it. Whatever he wants, I'm in. He sent us $2.99.
Perfect. Keep
So
it coming.
can you get a Diet Coke with that tonight?
can, yeah.
Okay. Scott, thank you so much. We deeply appreciate it. He's up there in Bristol Bay doing his thing. Scott, always good to have you with us. Isaac says, a.k.a. The Sack, how about the sea bass bite up in the Channel Islands? Remarkable.
Legendary.
Remarkable.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because now we're at 3 fish per rod.
Yeah.
So these guys are slamming them. The Endeavor, the new Hustler 2, the Mirage, to name a few. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah.
And one of those guys, I don't know who it was, the Mirage or could have been the Endeavor. They not only had limits to sea bass, they had 31 halibut to go with it.
I mean, that sea bass bite up there is, in the years past, we would hear about it happening for a weekend, like big bite over here at Catalina or here at PV. You would hear about it. It'd be a big hush-hush thing. You would hear about it 3 or 4 days later after it happened.
Right.
Oh, man, these guys killed it over there. Now, these guys are getting it on the regular. How many days have they gotten limits throughout the year? It's crazy. A lot of times, even when there was one fish limits, they could have got 3, no problem.
Yeah.
Everybody gets their limits in like half an hour.
Yeah.
And they're on their way catching something else.
Yeah.
So what they've got up there is pretty dang special. Up there in the Channel Islands. If you have never caught a sea bass, this is probably your chance. You can almost dial it in.
And another thing they've done up there, and I'm not taking a swipe at anybody else, I'm just saying up there, their customer service, they've got like a San Diego kind of mentality to it. Well, you got Aloha Spirit, you got, of course, Sean Stewart, who ran the XL for a long time, Tucker McCombs on the Endeavor. You walk on those boats, man, and I see, like you're talking about newbies, like I was on the Island Spirit. Man, those deckhands are all over those people. Like, here, how can I help you? Let me teach you.
Yeah.
And it's really nice to see. It's a pleasure to fish on a boat like that.
A lot of guys, that come through here, that's all they do. They only fish up there. They only fish Ventura, Oxnard because of that. Those guys up there, they've done such a good job of providing a good experience. And typically, you go up there, fishing is still fishing. You never know. But typically, you go up there, you're going to bring back a sack full of fillets of quality eating fish, Not that what we don't catch here isn't quality. We catch a variety of fish, and you have your chance of yellowtail and things like that. But nothing's as good as a freezer full of rock cod or obviously white sea bass, halibut. And that's kind of the thing, too, up there is that a lot of the guys that go up there and fish, they're looking for fish to eat.
Yeah.
And I would say if you just kind of put it as obviously the big bluefin, if you like eating tuna, that's hard, poundage-wise, there's a lot of fish there. But day in, day out for fish that are good to eat. That Ventura, fishing up there, and Oxnard fishing up there, it's about as good as you're going to get for table fare, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I'll keep you all up to date on Pat Whitaker and the Manana, whether they're going to have live squid at Catalina Island for you on our Facebook page, Freeman Adventures Facebook page, Instagram, and TikTok. So I just want to make mention of that. Pat's up there steering with those 2 ropes right now. Too funny, man. Scott Buchert says he's on the Rooster on October 31st for a 9-day trip.
Thanks for the warning.
You're not going on that trip, huh? So, Sam was on that trip too, Scott. He's calling and canceling right now. Let's see. Alberto Ponce, who I saw recently at the Orange County Fair.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he came by with his lovely wife, Crystal, and the kids. I hope the kids
Awesome.
are watching right now. I love his kids. They're great, and he just wanted to say hello to all the Friedman Adventure family members, and of course, you too. So that is good. Let's see. Hold on. I screwed up here.
That's about
I don't know why that. Yeah, first time I've ever done that, right? Hold up. Man, I really screwed up. Oh, here we are. Okay, I'm back in the game here, everybody. Scott Buchert is going on a tear here now. I have a bet on the albacore with Phil. Yes, he does.
Did you win or lose?
I have to get 200 albacore in Southern California. Yeah, I'm going to pull it off. I got till the end of the year. And he's got a bet with another guy, Bob Osborne. So there you go. Joe Martinez Jig Rig. I don't know. Scott's just randomly saying things now. Okay, Scott. Have you taken your medication tonight? Cue ball. Sam Gota Lizard Fish.
Sam got a lizardfish.
Sam got a lizardfish. I'm sorry.
That was a,
Sam
Gota.
Yeah. It was a smell. It was a nice one.
Yeah.
Kenji, only 24 likes, more than 100 in the chat. Hit the like button. Hey, wait a minute. We got 59, but that was probably a little while ago. Kenji, thanks for looking out for us. Do albacore hookup noise? I already did that, Scott. Yeah. Yes. What's the price of lead lately? Like 16 or 20-ounce torpedo sinkers. Those certainly got expensive, didn't they?
Yeah, it's up to about 50 cents an ounce. Kind of your probably as high as you'll see it, but about 50 cents an ounce is kind of where it's going.
Okay, perfect. Carlos Mosquera. I saw Carlos at the Orange County Fair. I get to see a lot of good people. What's up, gents? Jumping on the Oceanside 95 this Friday. Been praying to the albacore gods, and I'm bringing some light rods and small hooks. Good luck, Carlos.
There you go.
These are people who believe in Phil Friedman.
Especially on that boat, man. I mean, that's an albacore boat right there.
Darn right. Yeah, get him, Carlos. William, can anyone recommend a 3/4? Doesn't feel right paying $150 to get sand bass and rockfish when there's twilights that target the same thing for way less. I'd just go on a twilight then. William?
I think what he's saying is, he's trying to get more money out of it.
Yeah.
More bang out of his buck, I guess.
I don't know who the cheap guy. I don't know the prices.
Well, I mean, if you want to go fish something else, I think is what he's saying. I mean,
okay.
I think the Pursuit.
Pursuit goes to Catalina.
They go to Catalina every day, so I mean, I'd probably hit those guys up and maybe go to San Diego. Those guys down there are fishing offshore.
Yeah.
I think the Fury. Are they fishing off Catalina or?
Yeah, but they're an overnight boat.
No, what's the boat down there?
The Dana Pride or one of those.
I think one of those boats is fishing Catalina too. So there's a couple other. You probably watch their accounts and see what they're catching.
But I mean, the reality is Catalina is much slower than the local scene right now.
If you just want to go on a cruise and go see Catalina, that's probably going to be the way to go. But obviously the chances of catching some big is going to be held at Catalina. But man, with how fishing is so good locally, that's why those guys are doing that.
Yeah,
they're really kind of going where the best catch is going to happen.
Yeah, William, I'm trying to think for you also, but yeah, I know what you mean. I get it, but yeah, this local bite is just so good right now.
Right.
It's just maybe a half day, because I think on a half day you probably get as much fish as you're going to need. You're probably going to get a limited sand bass. Easy. Maybe do a half day or go twilight. One of those two. All right, Tyler. Turbo T2. I love this guy. Good evening, Captain Phil and Sam. Sorry I'm late. Great to tune in. By the way, I'm not a captain, but, I'm Sam's captain sometimes. He lets me captain. Greg, Greg, you had your food last week. Bluefin tuna and...
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, we did. Greg he's the guy that brought it. I think you feel slighted that we...
He's
right.
I was going to bring it up. And
nobody sent food. And then poor Greg drove all the way here from...
Fresh fish.
He's out there at Rancho Cucamonga. Fresh fish, salmon.
Man.
Ingratitude.
Yeah,
I humbly beg forgiveness, Greg.
That's why.
And deeply appreciate the great sacrifice you made last week. And I'm sorry I forgot. I will make it up to you. I'm going to take the $2.99 Scott sent. I'm going to get you some Jack in the Box tacos. Okay, there you go. Greg Buchert. Oh, Scott Buchert. 10 Dorado in U.S. is too much. I completely disagree. There's no such thing as too much fish.
You stop fishing when you get 5.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Catch as many as you want, Scott.
I say that to these people that say, really, we should be paying more income tax. I go, I'm sure if you send the IRS twice what you want, what they're charging, they'll take it.
Yeah.
Go for it. Keep me out of it, though. Manny Perez, going on the Aloha Spirit this Saturday. What should I expect up there in the Channel Islands? Number one, Manny, you should expect great customer service on that boat. That is one great boat. Sean Stewart and the guys he's got running the boat. I just love Sean. I've always had a deep amount of respect for him. He's a good guy. Probably what? Sea bass, right?
Yeah.
Sea bass.
Sea bass, halibut, rock cod. Yeah.
Yeah, there's bass, there's barracuda, there's but hopefully that sea bass keeps on the bite for you, man. I'm really hoping you have a great trip, Manny. I really do. But sea bass has been. Scott saying how do we get rid of Scott? He's all over this thing tonight.
I don't think you do get rid of Scott.
Yeah, I know. Maybe he'll lose. He's up in Bristol Bay. Hey, Scott, it's time to move offshore and go tender another boat up there. Yeah. John Moore, 65. How's it going? Phil, Sam, and everyone else in the shop. It's going good. John,
good.
Been way too long since I've seen you. Tyler, $5. Thank you so very much. Sam, thoughts on a Seeker, OSP 2x4 paired with a Penn Biznix 20, spooled with 130-pound metered and 130-pound wind on.
Perfect.
Did I screw that question up?
Yeah, the 2x4. Not
there you go.
Yeah, 2x4.
2x4.
2x4, it's 8.
Oh, that's 8, right?
Yeah. But no, that's a great combo right there, for the big tuna. In fact, that's probably our most common thing right now is a 20 size reel with the heavy rod, and that 2x4s are good as any of them.
Current Jam, are barracuda good eating? They seem like a pain, but people love catching them.
Yeah, they are good eating. Yeah, if you take care of them, like always, I'm sure that's a real common thing you'll hear.
Bleed them, ice them.
Yeah, bleed them and ice them. I know some of the boats have RSW. Some of them will have like coolers and stuff they'll put them in. Try to take care of them. I mean, if you caught one at 6:30 in the morning and it was sitting in a sack all day long, and you brought it home by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it may not be as good as the one you caught around 11:30 in the afternoon, and then maybe you got put in a sack or a cooler or something like that. But so you want to kind of make sure that you take care of your fish as you get them on board, bleed them, and get them cool as quick as possible. And they're not bad eating.
Isaac says the Enterprise is only $80 for a 3/4 day.
There you go.
There you go. So there's one, William. And then William says he's willing to pay $220.
All right.
So I think that you want to go, and I think you said Newport too, but if you headed down to San Diego, what do those guys charge? $225, $250?
I think so. Yeah.
Something like that.
Right.
All right. Yeah, I think William, those guys charge like $250. Mission Bell, San Diego, those guys, you're going to get your money's worth. Now, are you going to catch fish? If you went the last 3 or 4 days, the answer is probably not. It's been very tough fishing. But if you look at the season as a whole, those guys do great. They put in hard work. I know that Sean Hardigan on the Mission Bell, I haven't gotten his score yet because I'm doing the show here. Maybe somebody can look it up for us. On the Mission Bell, when I talked to him this morning, he was headed to the Coronado Islands because that local tuna bite was off. It was not going very well. But, that might be something you want to do. Back to Greg Bates. I'll see you Friday, Carlos. Oh, that's right. Greg is cooking on the Oceanside 95.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So make sure you bring your Pepto-Bismol on that trip.
Oh,
Just kidding, Greg.
Jeez.
Just a little
First you forget
joke.
about the food.
Yeah, I know. I like Greg. I get that
You think you're funny, huh?
No. I'm going to yell albacore if you keep this up, let me tell you. All right, Kenji. Sam, do you like the old black and gold Fathom versus the new silver? And do you have any in stock? Thank you.
I do. I got them both in stock. I think there's 1 or 2 sizes in that black and gold that we've ran out of. But, I don't really have a strong preference one or the other. I know in the new silver one, they have added a few different models that weren't available in the black and gold. But overall, the biggest change that I saw change is in the new ones. They changed the gear ratios on that size 40, that 40 narrow, and I do like the new gearing on the new 40 Narrow. But overall, besides that, I'm pretty indifferent on either one. I know a few features on one that I like on the new one, and then on the old one too that I like. But overall, I would say I would go with either of them.
All right, Steve says, good evening, Phil and Sam. What's the perfect mindset to have when going out fishing? Steve, I will answer first because I don't want Sam to steal my answer. He's probably going to say the same thing as me, so I want to get credit for it first. Don't go expecting to catch fish. Go for the adventure.
Yeah.
Go for the camaraderie. Go for being on the water, and you'll never have a bad trip.
Yeah.
Sam, your turn.
I try to go to learn.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you just kind of go with the mindset you're going to try to learn something that day, typically if you look for something to learn, you know, maybe something that other guys are doing, or maybe something a crew member's doing, or whatever, maybe something about the boat, you know, maybe where to put your tackle box next time, or things like that. If you kind of go down there with the intention of trying to learn something, then you'll find that the more you go, the better fisherman you're going to get.
All right. The boys from the California Saltwater Fishing YouTube channel. Make sure you check them out. They say, what's up, Sam and Phil, sending you good vibes from us here at the California Saltwater YouTube channel. What do you think chances are of Dorado coming up the coast again this year? I think it's excellent. What do you think?
100%, they're here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
there you go.
They're here. Get them.
Yeah, who was it last year? It was a guy at Dana Wharf Sport Fishing. I can't remember his name, but he goes, man, we saw so many.
Yes, I know exactly.
What's his name?
Not Sergio.
Yeah, it's Manny or I forget.
He's-
Mauricio.
Yes.
Mauricio Lopez, I think it is. Mauricio said, man, the kelps are holding, blah, 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 blah. And like
everywhere.
a week later, it went off.
Yeah.
We did the same thing. We were out, and it was you got one to bite, but
You're seeing hundreds of them.
Air Pika, who's the
Yeah.
the
Spotter plane.
he has footage of us, and we are surrounded. And
Well, how cool is that?
guys throwing rods across the boat. Just like, why can't we catch these things? Like we should have been stag fishing.
Yeah, I know. I think that's illegal, isn't it? I've thought about that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, when you roll up in a foamer,
that's
oh
what
my
we should
God.
be doing.
you have like
I'm just-
7 treble hooks and you throw
So
it
you catch
out.
them out, I think.
Yeah, you're good at that. All right, Kirk Halliday. Hi, Phil and Sam. Another great show. Thank you, Kirk. I was wondering if Sam could make a recommendation for a budget-friendly 40-pound rod and reel. I'm looking to fill a void between my lighter and heavier rods. Thank you, Sam.
Yeah. So 40-pound rod, just usually where you start kind of leaving your $40 rods or things like that. Usually those will go up to about maybe 15 or 20-pound tests. So you are going to get into something that probably going to be more than $100 for just the rod. The reel, as far as the reels are concerned, let me show you one here. Want to do a little commercial while I
Yeah, sure.
get a rod and reel.
All right, Sam's going to get a rod and reel. While he does, I'll remind you all to hit that like button. We deeply appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel, up to 10,000 subscribers now, so we deeply appreciate that. All right, we've got August the 15th. We'll be on board the Horizon out of H&M Landing in San Diego. It's a 1.5-day trip. I, of course, will be there. Sam, he won't commit. We'll wait and see on that. But I'll be there filming the trip, and that's going to be a lot of fun. Boat's beautiful. And I got a feeling we're going to be looking at probably a lot of Dorado, yellowfin, bluefin. Who knows, man? It just seems like those kelps are really starting to load up, so that's looking good. That's August the 15th, day-and-a-half trip, 619-222-1144 to book that trip. And then also, yes, I see you're going back and forth. So also, September the 15th, we just added the El Patron out of 22nd Street Landing in beautiful San Pedro, California. It's a Friedman Adventures charter. I'll be there shooting a video on that great trip. I think Greg Bates will be there. Several other Friedman Adventure family guys will be there. It's going to be a really fun trip. Leave at 6 in the morning, come back at 6 at night. September 15th, come on. All that El Nino warm water should be up here, forcing that Dorado and all those other exotics up. I don't know what we're going to be doing on that trip. We might fish sand bass. We might fish Catalina. We might fish Santa Barbara Island. The boat's exceptionally fast. I think we'll probably be offshore, but who knows? You just never know. 657-227-6459. Send me a text, and I'll get back to you and book you in on that trip. Sam, take it away.
All right. So as I was walking around, I even thought to myself, one thing you might consider is looking at some used gear. We have some used gear here too, but that's probably going to be one of the ways to get into something a little bit more affordable. But Daiwa, they continue to make this Daiwa Sea Line reel. This is actually the 50, but they make a 40 size as well, and this is their Seagate. So those two right there, I think $150 for this guy and like $130 for that guy.
Really?
Yeah. So for a reel that'll catch you.
And are they good?
Yeah, it'll catch you a yellowtail, no problem. You know, even a tuna, 40, 50-pound tuna, no problem. They're single speed reels, so they're not going to be your two speed. You know, for targeting bigger fish. But those Daiwa Sea Lines and Seagates are still great reels. The biggest difference here, this is kind of your old school reel. It's been around for a long time. Really nice reel. This is kind of your newer style reel that would be a very similar design to your Saltis and Saltiga. And so if you wanted kind of to have the newer technology, this would be the one. The biggest difference between this guy and the higher priced ones that they have is the frame. There's a graphite frame versus an aluminum frame, but otherwise, most of the other parts on the reel are the same. As far as your rod, you know, we were just talking about the GraphTech earlier. This is like a 78 heavy, 40, 50-pound rating, 7'8", and I think these are around $200. And then, you know, we carry these guys here. These are those Pro Sabers. You know, not the same saber of your dad here, but, you know, offshore made rod. But I mean, 7 foot, 30 to 60-pound rod. I think they're like $90 or something like that. And that'll definitely get you going. You know, it depends on how much you want to spend, but I would say that would be a nice budget rod for $150 for a reel, about $100 for a rod.
All right, perfect. Hope that answered your question. Great question. Good luck on your next fishing trip. Tyler says, Phil, you're the captain of the Friedman Adventure family. Yeah. Yes, indeed. This is not the Titanic either. We're not going to.
It's a 3-hour tour, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, my God, is it ever? It's usually a 3-hour show here.
This Friedman.
Yeah.
Jaime Fernandez, que pasa fishing raza. I like that, man. Cool. What's a good 50-pound rod and reel setup for atún de aleta azul por un viaje de 2 a 3 días? For a 2 to 3 day trip for bluefin tuna.
So something that holds about maybe 400 yards of 80-pound braid. That Saltis reel that we were talking about, they don't make it in a 2-speed anymore, but if you can have one of those. But the Fathom, and we talk about that reel a lot, that Fathom 30 holds about 400 yards at 80. And once again, that you know, on the rod, it can go anywhere from that GraphTech rod that I was talking about all the way up to, you know, a really nice rod. But something that's rated like a 30 to 80, something would be what I would want to recommend, whether it's a Phoenix rod or United Composites, Seeker, CalStar. And then the reel would want to be something that'll hold about 400 yards of 80-pound 2-speed reel. That Fathom's a good one. Also the Speedmaster, I think we were talking about that reel a few shows back, and that'd be the 16 that I would recommend to fill that 50-pound class.
Hey, Sam, one thing that I want to mention and thank a lot of people out there, thank 22nd Street Landing, thank our friend on the Royal Star who did so much to help us out, and that was all the clothing that went to Cedros, clothing, books. There's more stuff that's going to go to Tecate, but man, that was a great.
Those are good guys.
Yeah, and you actually came up with such a good idea about sending it to some of the venues where we have fished as fishermen. And Diego Nuno took the ball and ran with it. He's a deckhand on the Royal Star. Man, that came off so good, and it's going to continue into the future, it sounds like. But great stuff. Thank you for all your hard work and effort in that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we got to do. You know, I mean, we are so fortunate to live in a place where we kind of have an abundance. And a lot of times we have just a lot of stuff that we want to, you know, be able to provide, you know, some assistance to somebody. And anytime you do that, you know, I mean, it'll come back to you. So whenever you can do that, it's always going to be a good deed. But in this case, we try to kind of focus that attention as fishermen to other fishing communities that we have benefited from so much over the years. I mean, you know, the decades, really. And so that's something that I thought, you know, would just be a really good gesture. And it's so far turned out really well.
Turned out really, really good. You know, when we started, I said to the people out there, hey, if you could bring some clothing, frigging idea. Yeah, we had to warehouse it over at, and Joe Gallagher, man. Thank you, Joe. Gallagher Staging, who, you know, I go over there, they pick it up off the shelves down there, and they had forklifts running around, and they donated all that time and all that warehouse storage. It was great. And
that's awesome.
Diego really came through, and his mother with Padre Saul, who I don't know, but at the Catholic Church on Cedros, they distributed it all the other day, and it was great. So,
awesome.
Yeah, thank you, everybody who made that happen. Really, really great. Martine M., what would be the appropriate 10-foot jig stick, reel, and pound of line needed when fishing bluefin tuna foamers locally.
Yeah, I don't know if appropriate is going to be the right word for a 10-foot jig stick and tuna around. I mean, whenever you're going to take that challenge on, you're going to be at a disadvantage for sure. And, whatever the biggest thing you could hold on to, I mean, really, if you can put a 2-speed on it, even better. They usually don't cast as good as some of the conventional reels do, but I know a lot of guys are fishing that Tranks 500 has been a really popular reel for throwing poppers and things like that at some of this tuna. But, man, pretty much the biggest rod that you can cast and hold on to, and a reel that just holds enough line if you're lucky. But, casting to those things is going to be the first thing in getting them to bite. So that typically means it's going to be a smaller reel. You can't put a big reel on one of those rods to be able to still cast. But appropriate's going to be just the wrong word. There's not really anything that I would recommend as far as, a blanket, recommendation. So whatever it is that you think is the heaviest thing you can hold on to, because you're kind of inviting, a pretty serious situation that you hook a 150-pound tuna or something like that with a big long rod.
All right, a reminder that there'll be a show tonight with Tom Durr and Eddie Leland. Many of you love Eddie. I shot a podcast with those two guys. The upload was going really slow, so sometimes that's out of our hands. It's scheduled for 8, so we have to be finished by 8 o'clock.
We're done.
That breaks your heart, right? But that'll be just following our show, I hope, unless the upload screws everything up, and then we'll get it on there as soon as possible. But that was a really special show. Eddie, of course, in this battle with cancer, and I haven't seen a smile like that. And his wife, Sue, even said, wow, this has been so good. And Tom and him, I just let those two go. And they were talking about old times, and it was really good. What's that?
Was that the big sand bass he caught the other day?
Yeah, well, that was another thing. He went out with Dave Dodge. Yeah, he went out with Dave Dodge and caught a bunch of fish. So, man, I'm just so proud of Eddie. He's such a good guy, Anyway, Scott, don't tear me up. Scott Dickinson, Sport King in Victory, 3/4 day for $80. Sport King goes to Catalina much of the time. Most of the time he goes that way. William Padilla, that's in the 3/4 Newport. They don't take care of the fish. I'm paying an arm and a leg, and I at least want good eating fish. Gotcha, William. JC, Sam, BX, 230, 80-pound or 100-pound non-dog.
JC, on that one, I personally, I used to own one of those reels. I never had a problem with mine. It didn't have the anti-reverse dog is what he's talking about. It's an anti-reverse system on the reel. I only fished up to 80 on it. I didn't have it recently when we've had this big tuna. I had it down when we were fishing Guadalupe and caught some nice fish on it. Never had an issue with mine. You just want to make sure that that anti-reverse bearing is fresh. If you have something there that you haven't serviced in 4 or 5 years, I definitely put some new ones in there just to be sure. That's the only thing keeping your handle from not going backwards. So just make sure it's in good shape, and you should do fine on 80 or 100-pound. But I've only fished it up to 80, and 100-pound, I probably would be fishing a bigger reel anyway, like an international or something like that.
All right, Primo, quiere saber if you have the California Flyer lure for kite fishing.
I don't have the California brand lure. We carry the Monster brand lure. Very similar. It's that large rubber flyer. One of the things that I do carry from them that we've been selling pretty good, guys have been having some success with, is they make one that floats. So 2 things that kind of solves is, one, you can actually kind of drag it behind you while you're flying the kite. So you're going to be flying the kite one direction, and your boat's going to go with the kite, and you can put it in the water and drag it behind you. So it basically puts another bait in the water, in the opposite side of the boat, which sometimes that's pretty dang effective, and it's basically made to replicate what they call a backpack rig. The backpack rig is basically taking a frozen flyer and attaching some flotation to it and dragging that behind the boat, and that's proven to be effective over the years. The other thing, too, that it does is if you're taking guys out fishing and you're having them kind of man the kite rod, one of the hardest things to do, especially half the time you're looking right into the sun, is making sure that flyer is sitting right on top of the water. And it's sometimes, you take guys out and they just lose sight of it before they know that thing's way in the water, or it's 10 feet out of the water or something like that. With that floating flyer, it'll land and just sit right on top of the water. So it takes some of that part of the equation out of the equation. Yeah, especially if you have someone who's just having a hard time seeing it. And it's not that easy. If you're not paying attention, you lose sight of that thing. The thing's seems like it's a half a mile away, and you're trying to keep an eye on this thing here. But it has to.
Big rollers coming in.
Yeah, especially any kind of weather, you'll actually lose sight of it completely, So if you have some waves and some swells coming through, but that's where that floating flyer might come into play if you're having trouble with that. So we do carry a version of it.
What size, Omar asks, what size jaw lock would you use on the 300 plus gram rip rollers? What would be the equivalent size for Mustad single jig assist hooks?
On the 300 size, 300, 400, 500, I'm putting that 5.0. Same one for all three of them. As far as the assist hook size, I like using the bigger one, that 7.0 that they make. But even that 4.0 that they make in the heavy duty assist hook is a pretty good size hook. So 4.0, 6.0, 7.0, they'd be okay with as far as your assist hook size on the 300 size.
Jack Sepulveda, who I got to see at the OC Fair the other night. Great guy. I think I first met you, Jack, at the casting, not competition, but one of those casting things at 540 Slingers Club. Jack says, great seeing you at the OC Fair on Sunday. It was great seeing you and meeting your daughter, by the way. Thank you, Sam and Phil, for your time. Steve Bermudez, is it me or is your lips not syncing up to your voice? I think Steve's into the tequila again.
Finally caught him.
How the hell would I know?
Finally caught him.
Well, what? That it's not really me?
Yeah, it's not really
It's
you.
AI. Yeah, it's an AI version of me. Steve, are you into the tequila again tonight? Naughty, naughty. Or are you cheaping out on your internet connection? That could be the problem, right, Sam?
That could be.
Will you pick on Steve with me a little bit, please?
Yeah, he's the problem, yeah.
Tim Knott, Sam, you were right. The 20-pound test was the ticket. Got 2 bluefin and 1 yellowfin tuna on the Pacific Dawn Sunday. What a great trip. Thanks again.
Awesome.
What'd you do? Tell them to drop down on the...
Just to make sure you had it. This kind of fishing is one of those things about making adjustments. The good fishermen are the ones that know how to make adjustments. And sometimes 20-pound test, sometimes we forget that that's something you got to have with you. We always take 40, 50-pound test wanting a big fish, but you got to hook them first. And so even though it's not something I would start off with, you go to that 20-pound test is the only way to get bit at times. Yeah,
and Tim, congratulations. Good job, man. That's a great day's fishing. Thank you for being here tonight. Greg Bates is back again. I'm in on the El Patron. Okay, I got to remember that. Remind me about that. I've got $100 on you that you outfish me on the horizon. Come on. Is that me? Because I don't fish. I'm shooting a video.
He's going to win.
Yeah. No, I'll pass on that bet. But good, Greg. Greg's on all our trips, which might be, evidence of why we're not booking up this year. Greg's there. No, Greg. Just kidding. Tyler Tanaka, speaking of Cedros, wanted to share some fish dough. I went the second week of July. Cold, 62 to 65 degrees. Tough bite all 4.5 days. Surface iron was tough, but limited on Alice 6X Juniors. Tyler's making something that's very interesting. There's a California current, and it goes into that Baja coast with that cold water, and it's counterintuitive because you figure, hey, the further south I go, the warmer the water's going to get. And sometimes that's not, and that's exactly what it sounds like happened to Tyler. That's why you can go down there sometimes and you're catching barred perch in July, and the water's cold.
Cold.
Yeah, really, and it's like, wait a minute, why are we catching barred perch? Why aren't we catching Corvina full feeder? Yeah. And there is that California current that goes into some parts of the Baja Peninsula. So, oh my God, that means there's still albacore.
They're down there.
Tyler's right. Right, James?
I'm 100% on board with the albacore.
Woo! Hey, have I screamed it recently?
This is reminiscent of my 7th grade summer with my dad, where it's like follow the dolphin, you'll find the yellowfin, and then all of a sudden the albacore show up.
Yep. Now listen to this. How long's it?
At least 10 minutes.
Oh yeah. Should I wait a little longer? Or
do it now. It's almost over.
All right. I know, man. We're almost. Yeah, I know. You want me to hurry? We can go to dinner, maybe. Are you hungry?
No.
Do you want to go to dinner, or do you have to run out of here tonight?
Yeah, you got to get ready to go fishing with the kids tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, well, that's more important.
Yeah.
I won't hold you to that. All right, Tyler, and don't be afraid to troll Rapala 30-foot models.
Yeah.
In mackerel and sardine patterns.
About that.
Did really well in the mid-morning trolling after the. I'm starting to read like a moron again. After the AM bite shutoff. Yeah. Greg is betting you $100.
Oh man.
Yeah. Are you going on that trip?
I'm going to have to now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
He's going, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, we'll boycott the store if he doesn't show up. Greg Warren, question for Sam. I got a hard over part of this. For a real clamp for Italica 12.
I'm not sure if you're asking for just a replacement clamp. That maybe for if you lost one, we should have those in stock. But if you're looking for like a clamp to put like on a jig stick, once again, I think that Tiburon makes one, and it's going to be, I don't remember off the top of my head, maybe a large or an extra large for that one. So that's the way I would go, depending on which one you want.
All right. What are you planning on catching tomorrow in the Monte Carlo?
Oh,
I'm putting this there. James, why don't you come and sit here so
That's
people
the
can
Barracuda.
actually see you? James has been commenting from the peanut gallery all night, and I thought for the end of the show, he should come out and say hello.
Pretend like I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so it should be Sam Bass, Barracuda, right?
Yeah.
Is he in the? Yeah, you should be in that shot.
Perfect.
All right. Hey, we got another question. I thought we were out of this, but Omar, all this albacore has me excited. What are the basic albacore setups? Great question, Omar. It's got me
Feathers.
excited too.
Yeah.
And it's got you excited.
Feathers.
Come on.
Yeah. Trolling,
You're a non-believer.
trolling feathers. That's probably going to be one of the ones that you
Yeah.
may
Find the
not
dolphin.
have. Was that? Yeah. Find the dolphin.
No, but you
far
want
as
an
your-
anchovy. I mean, you need a lighter rod to make a good cast of
Yeah,
anchovy,
yeah.
right?
I think one of the things that people always talk about, anchovy fishing and stuff like that, having a lightweight rig, something like Alexa 400 or something like that is probably going to be a rig that's going to be super popular when those fish do show up. But any of the smaller stuff, I didn't show it here, but even in the Seagate, they make a size 20, which is like about the size of a squidder. That's going to be a popular size. But you're going to have probably, what are we going to have? A rubber core sinkers.
Yeah, right.
That
Do you
kind
think
of
we'll
stuff.
go back to using that
I
again?
don't see why not.
Yeah, right?
Well,
Twist
because it's a
ons.
small bait.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So using a sinker to get down, maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
It could even be an X sinker, a half-ounce X sinker. That was always kind of a common deal too. Maybe now that we learned how to do this rubber band trick, with fishing the bluefin tuna, I'm sure the same thing is going to apply to bluefin. Maybe a drop shot rig, but maybe with a 2-ounce or a 3-ounce sinker versus those big sinkers.
Right.
So there's going to be some different things, but small hooks typically, you're talking about a size, 4s, 2s, those kind of things, and smaller gear, 20 to 30 pound test. But there was lots of times where they bit 40 pound. Just 20 to 30 pound test was probably the most common. With an occasionally you even fish 15, but I'd say 20 to 25 pound was what I feel like I caught most of my albacore on back then.
Yeah, perfect. Steve Bermuda says, damn drunks. I think he's projecting again. He's the guy that the voice is not matching up with. Hal, great show, guys. What setup, rod, reel, line would you take for the WSPs in the Channel Islands?
Well, with the way they got them, I think 40 pound, 50 pound would probably be on order.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
Dropper loop.
Dropper loop, 30, 40, 50 pound. I'm sure they were catching them full speed.
Joe says, Sam, how many setups would you bring on a 2-day next week with the way things are looking right now? Great question,
it's
Joe.
unlimited. You're going to bring about 10 rods. Once you figure a couple heavy rods, a jig stick, that's 3 rods right there. You can kind of cut it down on your other stuff, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. You can probably go for like 20, 40, and 60, and then 2 heavy rods, that's 5, and then a jig stick, so 6. That'd probably be the minimum. But knowing me, I'd probably take every size in between. Getting up to 10 rods is really easy. But I think 6 rods is going to be about your minimum if you want to cover all your bases.
Mike Trunk says that they're out there playing the albacore game, getting drunk. So that's
be.
the problem
Could
tonight
be.
with Steve,
That
for
game
sure.
never ends.
Omar says, I'm looking for fishing resources that take a scientific approach to the sport. Could you recommend some materials, books, videos that focus on the science of fishing, especially Southern California? Yeah, that Friedman Adventures podcast. Boy, what
Very
a
non-scientific.
marvelous resource
That
that
guy
is,
doesn't know what he's
Omar.
talking about.
That guy.
Don't listen to that guy.
It's like incredible, Omar. Why is his name? Brian Wynn.
Brian
Wynn
Wynn?
did
Yeah.
a video. I don't know if you've seen it, Omar, but he did a thing, and it was the science and mechanics of catching big fish, and he did a really great job on that. So that's in our library, which I've got to reorganize because it's a mess. Let me tell you. But
And as soon as you think you have it dialed
Yeah.
in to a science, Mother Nature just
Yeah.
puts you right in
Yeah.
where it's like, yeah, you have no idea what the heck's going
It's
on.
definitely a moving target, It's not
Yeah.
something that you're ever going to kind of dial in that way. Like one of the things I always try to preach is what's the best lure, what's the best jig, what color is being versatile, being able to make adjustments. That's really the science behind it, is knowing when you get there, you got to go to a smaller hook, or you got to go to a heavier line, or you got to go to whatever it is.
Chunk bait.
Making adjustments, and being open to that. If you wanted a book, one of the books that I think as of recent, there hasn't been too many books because of now with the internet, there's just not many books around anymore. But Brandon Hayward, he's got a couple good books, and he has I don't know if he's putting them out anymore, but the Bite Sport Fishing magazine.
Yeah, right.
Those are great too. Kind of an updated look at some of the different kinds of fishing. But I know he's got 2 books. Brandon Hayward, I'd highly recommend it. He breaks it down pretty good.
And then
Who was the gentleman that wrote the book on the horseshoe? With Mark Wesh.
I don't know. You mean throwing horseshoes?
No.
I'm kidding. I know what you're talking about.
Captain Dave talks about all the time.
Captain Dave talks about him all the time. Mark Wish?
No, with Mark Wesh.
Oh, with Mark Wish.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Whatever
It's on
that
the
book
blank.
is.
What's wrong with you?
Whatever.
Well, maybe he's talking Into the Gray. There's and 2 to 20 Fathom. Those 2 books you're talking about?
No.
That's Mark Wish's books, right?
Yeah, but there's a dude that wrote a book that Captain Dave Hansen talks about all the time. Yeah.
We'll figure it out. Also,
I can call Dave and I'll figure it out.
All right, yeah, and then we'll let everybody know next time. All right, Tyler, I would for sure pack some rubber core sinkers to class fly line bait for the albies. Yeah, heck yeah. Steve Bermuda says jack pole with white feathers.
Yeah.
Right on, Steve. Steve says fishing, California saltwater, proven spots and proven methods. A good one. So there's a recommendation for something to watch. It looks like we've reached the end of our questions. Does that mean, I mean, it's with a sad heart sometimes that we end the show because I so enjoy doing this.
Yeah.
Are you still feeling that way? You still enjoying this?
I'm still enjoying it.
You sure?
I don't know about the sad heart part.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a little
Yeah,
dramatic.
you want to get the hell out of here, right? Before we go, is there any kind of a thing you're going to do tonight?
Guys have been asking me still for that, buy 2 get 1 free on the jigs. So we'll probably keep doing that.
So what is it exactly? Spell it out.
Basically, buy 2 knife jigs, you get 1 free.
Any kind of knife jig?
Any kind of knife jig, any kind of brand, mix and match. But buy 2 get 1 on the knife jigs. I think we've been doing really good on that. I have had some guys come in and take advantage of the Costa Del Mar sunglass deal. We've been doing 25% off on those.
Oh, so that we're having multiple sales.
Yeah, so we'll do that to the end of the month as well. So you guys keep doing that. I'll mention it every week, but we'll do those 2 to the end of the month.
All right, so give me that again because I wasn't
So
listening.
it's buy 2 get 1 free on the knife jigs, and 25% off on the Costa sunglasses till the end of the month.
All right. If you're in the mood for some nostalgic, great look back in sport fishing, Tom Durer, Eddie Leland, 8 o'clock tonight. That's the schedule. Highly recommend you take a look at it. And after that, it's archived so you can watch it at any point in time. I'll be watching fishing for the rest of the night for you. If that crazy Pat Whitaker makes squid tonight, yeah, with the 2 ropes, you got to see it. Watch it short. It's funny. And anything new with you? Are you doing anything on your private boat, or you catching any thresher sharks?
Yeah.
They're gone, right?
They've moved way south.
You don't say where because your friends get angry, and I don't want anybody.
They're way, way, way south.
Oh, okay.
Further south than I want to travel.
Across the border, south?
No,
that means
they're
that means
approaching
they're
now.
probably north.
Yeah, yeah, right. They're up in the Channel Islands now.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No, we haven't been out. It's been kind of a rough couple of weeks, but we're moving in the right direction, and we're going to
Wait
get out
for them to
there.
come
And yeah, well, and now we got bluefin albacore. We got 250.
Albacore! One last time. Thank you
we
for
got
reminding me.
250
I
gallons
think
of
I
fuel burning a
overheard
hole in
that.
our
Yeah,
pocket.
as soon as he's ready to go, Captain Phil.
Yes.
Captain Phil, I'm the captain of the
take
Freeman
you to the
Adventures
albacore.
family.
Yes.
Tyler's right. Don't screw with this,
Captain
man.
Albacore, we should call you.
Yes, exactly. Captain Albacore. You know what? That's how we're going to refer to you when
Oh,
I text
my
you. in the
God.
We'll
morning.
get you a hat. Captain
Good morning,
Albacore.
Captain Albacore.
Oh my God, that's
I
brutal.
want somebody out there to put something together in Photoshop, Captain Albacore.
Oh my
Across his
God.
chest. That'd be
Oh.
awesome.
My guys will take care
Somebody
of
will
you.
do it.
Yeah.
I'll show you what they sent me the last couple of days. He's in trouble.
Hey, hit that like button, everybody. We deeply appreciate it. Sam, how do we come here and visit you? Can people call you? Will you ship to them? You know, what's the deal?
Yeah, in fact, we've had a couple of those. And I was mentioning to you, Greg Berg, he called us down here from Vegas, ordered a couple reels and rods, so we're getting him set up. But yeah, you can call down to the shop, send a message on Instagram or Facebook. If you want to call down, it's 310-707-1205. If you want to come down and visit us, we're at 21809 Avalon Boulevard in the city of Carson. We're open 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday from 10 to 6.
James, thanks for being here tonight, as always.
Of course.
I'll give you a ride home tonight.
All right.
Like a plan.
Sam, have fun tomorrow on the Monte Carlo.
It's going to be great.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us here on Tackle Shop Confessions. Deeply appreciate you, and we'll see you again next week.
See you next week.
All right.